She called me at 2:47 a.m. screaming, "My Uber account is locked, send $300 or I'm stranded." I said, "Ask the guy you went out with." Then I put my phone on silent and went back to sleep. At sunrise, I woke up to a voicemail from a number I didn't recognize, and what the voice said made me sit upright. I'm 34, and until last Thursday night, I thought my girlfriend and I were solid. We'd been together 3 years, living together for the last 18 months. She's 28, works in event planning, which meant late nights and weekend work weren't unusual. I trusted that. Why wouldn't I? She'd never given me a concrete reason not to. But looking back now, the signs were there. Little things. Her phone always face down on tables. Sudden work emergencies that required her to leave immediately. Coming home smelling like cologne that wasn't mine. When I'd mention it, she'd have explanations ready. A coworker hugged her. A client was wearing too much cologne in a small room. Reasonable enough that I'd drop it. The real shift started about 6 weeks ago. She became distant. Less interested in our conversations, more interested in her phone. We'd be watching TV, and she'd be typing away, laughing at messages I couldn't see. When I'd ask who she was talking to, she'd say, work friends, or her college roommate. Again, reasonable explanations that I accepted because I wanted to believe them. I started noticing other changes too. She'd started going to the gym more frequently, buying new clothes, getting her nails done every week instead of every month. At first, I thought maybe she was just taking better care of herself, which I supported. But then, I noticed she never wore the new outfits around me. They'd disappear into her closet, and I'd only catch glimpses when she was getting ready to meet clients or have those work dinners. Thursday night changed everything. She left around 8 p.m., said she had a work dinner with potential clients, wore a red dress I'd never seen before, heels that made her 3 inches taller, makeup that took her an hour to apply. I kissed her goodbye at the door. "Don't wait up," she said. "These things usually run late." "How late?" "Midnight, maybe? I'll text you." "Okay. Have fun." She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Then she was gone. I spent the evening working on a project for my job, ate leftover pizza, watched part of a documentary about deep-sea creatures. Around 11 p.m., I texted her. "How's it going?" No response. Midnight came and went. No text. No call. I tried calling at 12:30, straight to voicemail, tried again at 1 a.m., same thing. I went to bed around 1:30, telling myself her phone died, that she was networking, that I was being paranoid, but I couldn't sleep. Just lay there staring at the ceiling, listening to every car that passed outside, wondering if one of them was bringing her home. The call came at 2:47 a.m. I know because I checked the time before answering, hoping it was her calling to say she was on her way. "Hello? I need money, right now." Her voice was sharp, panicked, words slurring together. Background noise suggested she was outside somewhere, maybe on a street corner. "What? Are you okay? My Uber account is locked. Some payment issue. I need to get home and I need $300 for a cab." I sat up. "300? Where are you?" "That's not important. Just send it." "It is important if you need $300. That's not normal cab fare." "I'm far, okay? Just send the money." Something in my gut twisted. How did you get all the way out there if your Uber wasn't working? "Someone dropped me off. Now I'm stuck and I need you to send money." "Who dropped you off?" "Oh my God. Does it matter? I need help." That gut feeling intensified, became clarity. "Ask the guy you went out with." Silence. Complete, total silence. Even the background noise seemed to disappear for a moment. "What?" "You heard me. Ask whoever you were actually with tonight to give you a ride home." "I was at a work dinner." "What are you talking about?" "At 3 a.m.? Come on. You're being paranoid. And you're being dishonest. Figure it out yourself. Are you seriously going to leave me stranded?" "You're not stranded. You're with someone. Get them to drive you." "You're such an asshole." I hung up. put my phone on silent, rolled over, and actually fell asleep within minutes. The best sleep I'd had in weeks. My alarm went off at 6:30 a.m. I checked my phone, 17 missed calls from her number, 23 text messages ranging from angry demands to crying pleas to threats about how I'd abandoned her. I scrolled through them without really reading, noting the progression from fury to desperation to guilt-tripping. Then I saw the voicemail notification. Unknown number. Left at 4:18 a.m. I played it. Hey man, this is awkward, but your girlfriend gave me your number. I'm outside your apartment building with her right now. She's pretty drunk, and I wanted to make sure she actually lives here before I let her go inside. She said, apartment 4C? Can you confirm that's right? She's in rough shape and I don't feel comfortable just leaving her if this isn't actually where she lives. Call me back when you get this. The voice was male, mid-30s, sounded genuinely concerned but also uncomfortable, like he'd stumbled into a situation he didn't want to be in. I called back immediately. He answered on the first ring. Hello? This is the number you called. You said you're with my girlfriend? Oh, thank God. Yeah, I got her inside about an hour ago. She used my phone to call you a bunch of times, but you didn't answer. Yeah, I had it on silent. Who are you? He hesitated. Look, I think there's been a misunderstanding. I met her on a dating app about 3 weeks ago. We've been texting, went out once last week. Tonight was supposed to be our second date. My stomach dropped. She told you she was single? Yeah, completely single. Said she lived alone. We had dinner, couple drinks, everything seemed normal. Then around midnight she wanted to go to this bar across town. I drove because she'd been drinking. That's when things got weird. Weird how? She started getting really drunk, like sloppy drunk, talking about some guy she lives with, then catching herself and saying she meant her roommate. Then she'd forget she'd said that and mention you again. I started asking questions and she got defensive, said it was complicated. That's when I realized she probably wasn't actually single. What happened then? I told her I'd drive her home, but that I wasn't interested in seeing her again if she was in a relationship. She got upset, tried to order an Uber, but her account was locked. Some payment issue. She called you freaking out about money. You hung up. She started crying, saying you were controlling and never helped her. Honestly, man, it threw up a lot of red flags. I bet. I drove her here because I wasn't going to leave her stranded, but I needed to make sure someone was actually here. She fell asleep in my car on the way, woke up enough to give me the address and apartment number. I got her to the building door and she made it inside. But I wanted to confirm this was actually her place and not just some random address. It's our place. We live together, have for over a year. Shit. I'm really sorry, man. I had no idea. She told me she was single, lived alone, the whole thing. It's not your fault. Thanks for making sure she got home safe. No problem. For what it's worth, you seem like a decent guy. You deserve better than this. We hung up. I sat there on the edge of my bed, phone in my hand, processing everything. She'd been on a date, an actual date with someone from a dating app, while telling him she was single, while living with me. I got up, got dressed, made coffee, walked into the living room. She was passed out on the couch, still in her red dress, makeup smeared, one heel on and one on the floor. Her phone was dead on the coffee table next to a glass of water someone, probably the guy, had set there. I drank my coffee and waited, thought about all those Thursday and Saturday nights she'd been working late or meeting clients. How many of those had been dates? How long had this been going on? 3 weeks, according to the guy, but was that the truth, or just how long she'd been seeing him specifically? I pulled out my laptop and logged into our shared cloud account where we backed up photos, started scrolling through the last few months, found photos of her in outfits I'd never seen her wear around me, found pictures taken at restaurants I'd never been to with her, found selfies with captions about self-care and living my best life that now felt like coded messages. Update 1. She woke up around 9 a.m., groaned, sat up slowly, held her head like it might fall off. Water, she croaked. I pointed to the kitchen. She stumbled over, refilled the glass, drank it in 3 long gulps. I feel like death, she said. That's what happens when you get drunk on a date with someone from a dating app. She froze, turned slowly to look at me. What? The guy called me, explained everything. Nice of him to make sure you got home safe. Her face went white. I can explain. I'm sure you can, but I don't want to hear it. It's not what you think. You were on a date. You told him you were single. He drove you home at 3 a.m. because you were too drunk and your Uber was locked. What part am I misunderstanding? She started crying. It was just one date. It didn't mean anything. He said this was your second date. You went out with him last week too. We just got coffee. It wasn't serious. You've been on 2 dates with someone while living with me. You lied to him about being single. You lied to me about where you were. How is that not serious? I was curious. I wanted to see what else was out there. While still living here, still sleeping in our bed, still pretending everything was fine between us, I was going to tell you. When? After date 3? 4? When exactly were you planning to mention you were shopping for my replacement? She sobbed harder. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. No, you made a series of choices. You downloaded a dating app. You created a profile. You swiped on guys. You matched with someone. You texted him for weeks. You went on a date with him. Then you did it again. Those aren't mistakes. Those are decisions. What are you saying? I'm saying pack your stuff. You've got until tonight. You're kicking me out? Yeah. The lease is in my name. You're not on it. You've got 8 hours to figure out where you're going. This is cruel. What's cruel is cheating on someone and then calling them an asshole when they won't bail you out at 3 a.m. She tried a different approach, sat down on the couch, looked up at me with red eyes. Please, can we just talk about this? I know I messed up, but we can work through it. There's nothing to work through. You violated every bit of trust we had. People make mistakes. You've never done anything wrong? I've never downloaded a dating app and gone on dates with other people while in a relationship. So no, not that. I didn't sleep with him. That's not the bar for cheating. You went behind my back. You lied. You created a whole separate life I knew nothing about. I just needed to know if there was something better out there. And now you can find out. As a single person, which is what you told him you were anyway. I grabbed my keys and left. Spent the day at a coffee shop working remotely, giving her space to pack. Got a text from her around 2 p.m. Please, can we talk about this? Didn't respond. Another at 4 p.m. I don't have anywhere to go. Replied, You've got 4 hours. At 6 p.m. Fine, I'll be gone by 8. I got home at 8:30. Her stuff was gone. Bathroom cleared of her products. Closet half empty. Kitchen missing her favorite mug and bowl. She'd taken her things and disappeared. There was a note on the counter. I'm sorry. I know I messed up. If you change your mind, call me. I threw it away. Update 2. 3 days went by. Quiet. Peaceful. I rearranged furniture, reclaimed space, enjoyed having the apartment to myself. Then Saturday morning I got a call from her mom. What happened? She showed up here crying, saying you kicked her out. She cheated on me. I ended the relationship. She said it was a misunderstanding. It wasn't. She went on multiple dates with someone from a dating app while living with me. Told him she was single. When she got too drunk and needed a ride home, the guy called me to confirm it was actually her address. That's not a misunderstanding. That's infidelity. Her mom went quiet. She didn't tell me that part. I figured. I'm sorry. That's inexcusable. I appreciate that. What are you going to do? I'm already doing it. Moving on. We hung up. 10 minutes later, I got a text from my ex. You told my mom everything? Me. She called and asked. I told the truth. Her. Now she's mad at me. Me. That's not my problem. Her. You're really not going to give me another chance? Me. No. Her. After 3 years? That's it? Me. You threw away 3 years when you downloaded that app. You just didn't tell me until I found out myself. She didn't respond after that. Later that week, her friends started reaching out. 3 different people called or texted saying I was being too harsh, that everyone makes mistakes, that 3 years should count for something. I gave them all the same response. She made her choices, I made mine, and I wasn't interested in debating it. One of her friends got aggressive about it. You're really going to throw away 3 years over one night? It wasn't one night. It was weeks of lying, weeks of dates, weeks of her building a backup plan while pretending everything was fine. That's not a mistake, that's a pattern. She's devastated. She should have thought about that before she started swiping on dating apps. The friend hung up on me. Didn't bother me one bit. Update 3. The guy from the dating app texted me Tuesday afternoon. Hey man, hope this isn't weird, but I wanted to check in. How are you doing? I stared at the message for a minute before responding. Honestly, better than expected. Thanks for asking. Good to hear. Look, I feel awful about the whole situation. If I'd known she was in a relationship, I never would have gone out with her. I believe you. You seem like a decent person. Thanks. She tried texting me yesterday asking if we could try again. Said she's single now. What did you say? I blocked her. I'm not interested in dating someone who lies that easily. Smart move. If you ever need to grab a beer and vent or whatever, let me know. I might take you up on that. We ended up getting drinks that Friday. Turned out he was going through his own relationship mess, had a crazy ex situation from a year ago. We swapped stories, laughed about the absurdity of modern dating, actually became friends. Weird how that happens sometimes. He told me more about that night. How she'd gotten progressively drunker, how she'd started contradicting herself about her living situation, how uncomfortable he'd felt when she called me screaming for money. I knew something was off when you hung up on her, he said. Her reaction was way too extreme. Like she'd expected you to just hand over the money, no questions asked. That's because I usually did. Anytime she needed something, I'd help. This was the first time I'd ever said no. Good for you, man. Sometimes people need to face consequences. Update 4. Month later, I was at the grocery store when I ran into her. She was with some guy, laughing, holding his hand, saw me, and went pale. Hey, she said awkwardly. Hey, this is my boyfriend. The guy looked confused. I thought you said your ex was out of town. He is. He was. This is him. I nodded at the guy. Good luck, man. She's got an active dating app profile and a history of calling people controlling when they don't give her money at 3 a.m. Her face went red. That's not fair. Neither is cheating. But here we are. I walked away, heard her trying to explain to the guy as I turned down the cereal aisle. Didn't stick around to hear how that turned out. Ran into a mutual friend a week later who told me the new boyfriend dumped her after that encounter. Apparently, he'd done some digging and found out she had a reputation for overlapping relationships. Felt a little bad for him, but mostly felt vindicated that I'd dodged a bigger bullet than I'd realized. The friend also mentioned she'd been telling people I was emotionally abusive and that's why she'd needed to see other people. I laughed. Let her tell whatever story she needed to tell to sleep at night. Final update. It's been 4 months. Life's good. Really good. The apartment feels like mine again. I've been dating casually, nothing serious, just enjoying getting to know new people without the weight of a dying relationship. The guy from the dating app, we're actually good friends now. He introduced me to his friend group. We play basketball on Thursdays, grab drinks on weekends. Funny how something so messy led to meeting genuinely good people. I heard through mutual friends that my ex has burned through 3 relationships since we broke up. Apparently, she has a pattern of getting bored and looking for the next thing while still in a relationship. I'm just glad I found out when I did instead of years down the line or, God forbid, after marriage. Someone asked me last week if I regretted how I handled that night. specifically hanging up on her and not sending the money. Not even a little, I said. Some people think you were harsh. Some people weren't being cheated on and manipulated. She made her choices. I made mine. I chose self-respect. And honestly, that's what it came down to. She'd spent weeks lying to me, lying to someone else, building a backup plan while enjoying the stability of our relationship. When it all fell apart and she needed help, she expected me to bail her out like nothing had happened. But I'd done that enough, overlooked enough red flags, made enough excuses for her behavior. That night at 2:47 a.m., when she called demanding money, something in me just clicked. I was done being the safety net for someone who was actively looking to replace me. People can call it harsh or cold or whatever they want. I call it finally having a backbone. And you know what? It feels pretty damn good. I've learned a lot from this experience, about trust, about red flags, about the importance of addressing problems when they're small instead of letting them grow, about the difference between someone who makes a mistake and someone who makes calculated choices over and over. Most importantly, I learned that self-respect isn't negotiable. You can't love someone into being honest. You can't compromise your way into a healthy relationship. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself is walk away from someone who doesn't value what you bring to their life. The apartment lease is up in 2 months. I'm thinking about getting a new place. Fresh start, fresh space, fresh chapter. Maybe closer to work, maybe in a different neighborhood. Somewhere with no memories of her, no ghosts of what we used to be. My friends have been great through all this. They'd never liked her much, I realize now. They were just being polite for my sake. One of them admitted last week that they'd suspected she was cheating months ago, but didn't know how to bring it up. You seemed happy, he said. Or at least, you seemed like you wanted to be happy. Didn't want to ruin that if we were wrong. You weren't wrong. Yeah, we know that now. It's funny how everyone around you can see things you're blind to. How love, or the idea of love, can make you ignore your own instincts. I knew something was off. I felt it in my gut for weeks. But I convinced myself I was being paranoid, that I was being controlling, that I needed to give her space and trust her. Turns out my gut was right all along. So yeah, 4 months out, I'm doing fine. Better than fine. I'm rebuilding my life on my own terms, with people who actually value honesty and loyalty. And that 2:47 a.m. phone call? Best wrong number I ever answered, because it forced me to stop ignoring what I already knew and finally do something about it.